Peace and many blessings, y'all. We're gonna do a roll up and chat. But I was talking to my friend, and she was experiencing some angst about it all boiled down to trusting herself to feel her emotions. And I feel like this is something that we all reached because of the programming that people give to us about how we feel. You either feel too much, feel too little. Like, you know what I'm saying? Trusting yourself. This is what it all boils down to. Just having faith and trusting yourself. How can you trust yourself? And so just through our conversation, she was like, you know what? You should write a book about trusting yourself. I don't know why I said that, but it just sounded like the right thing. I'm gonna actually roll a paper. I was like, oh, okay. Write a book about trusting yourself. How do you trust yourself? But when it came to me trusting myself, a lot of it is like, one, I was telling her I made a lot of my own decisions growing up. Like, my dad was more so just my support. He was never making decisions for me. So that was a lot of pressure, but it helps out for times like this where, you know, I'm out in the world and I got to decide things for myself. It's like, well, if I know I make the decision, then my track record has been, I make the decision, I have the support. I make the decision, I have the support. I make the decision, I have the support. And that's like my knowing, right? That's why I ask people, that's why I asked the question, I posed the question today of what can you tell yourself yes to? So all the time we telling ourselves, no, oh, I can't do this because I got a kid, because I'm too busy, because I got work, because I gotta be there for my sick family members, because, you know, just all these reasons that take you away from your own thing. It's like, it's a verse in the Bible where it was like this guy had to leave to go be a prophet before he even got to bury his dad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and he still went off to be that prophet. Sometimes you gotta know, you gotta trust yourself rather than the idea of what someone else would do in that same position, because you're not that person and they not in your position, period. You ain't that person and they not in your position, period. But how to trust yourself? You gotta tell yourself that it's okay to feel. You have to tell yourself that it is okay to feel. And that is something I neglected. I neglected my feelings unless it was something, unless it was an emotion that I was familiar with. Anger, I knew. Sadness, I knew, da-da-da. But if it came to like knowing that I was confused, or I'm experiencing inner conflict, or I'm sure in myself, but I'm missing a part of the picture, like, you know, like things like that where I didn't know how to put a word to that, and I didn't know if it was normal and stuff, so I didn't know how to process myself through it. But the more that I sit with myself and I tell myself like, hey girl, it's okay to feel this, or what's going on with you, and checking in rather than judging myself for feeling something, or if I feel something, I'm no longer making that mean anything about my whole existence. Oh, I feel sad today. Wow, I'm just such a sad person, and now I'm a burden to everybody I'm around. Like, you know, the stories that we tell ourselves. And I think another way that I'm able to trust myself so much is knowing that there's nothing that I can do that is going to just like condemn me to such a place. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to be brought into clarity with a friend, right? If I'm sitting here confused, I'm hurting myself more than anything because I'm operating off of a story. But I trust myself enough to share that story with a friend and know that whatever that story that I made up about them is, they're not going to be offended, and I'm just allowing them to be inside of my thought process. So a lot of trust and building trust with myself came from building intimacy with others and, you know, intimacy within myself. But I've always been kind of just an intimate thinker when it comes to me. Extremely self-aware and stuff, so I'm like, oh well, how was I acting in that, but without making it seem like I'm just a problem everywhere, because I definitely had to find harmony in that, where I've been too sensitive to some people or too aware, and that awareness made me aware of everybody in the room. And sometimes me just being aware of myself is going to project that onto somebody else, and they're going to have to be aware of them too, and people don't be ready for that. So yeah, trusting yourself. I've been making decisions for a long time, and I know that if I do quote unquote make a mistake, or if I go the quote unquote wrong way, which I do only believe is being redirected, it's like that doesn't mean that I did anything wrong. It just means that I'm learning from it. Like, it's a part of the journey. It's a part of my journey. It was all written. Like, I fully surrender to surrender. I fully surrender to surrender. I say that to say that I'm okay with how things happen, because I know I got me through whatever. I done saw me and some crazy stuff. I lived through some things that I didn't never think I had to live through. There's been a night that I slept in my car. At night I ain't even have nowhere to sleep. And this is coming from somebody who just used to make a lot of money and never had to worry about money. And it's like, not like I was rich or silver spooned or nothing like that, but I've always found that resource to myself. I used to always joke with my friends too, like, why do why do the spiritual ascension, or why do the initiation gotta come with a pinch of poverty? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a part of that is the detachment from this worldly stuff. I'm definitely not one of those believers of you gotta be broke to be woke or whatever. Who is that? Billy Carson. He got a book that called that you don't gotta be woke to be broke. I took a seminar. My mentor paid for me to sit into a seminar with him and Dr. B Serious. But I just feel like, yeah, trusting yourself is not a one-time thing. It's overall, like, it's a cultivation of different practices that you do. It's like if you operate scared in a world, you can't trust yourself. I trust myself to make great friends. I trust myself to give myself amazing opportunities. I trust myself to make money. I trust myself to, I know that I'm going to do it. I know that I'm going to do it. I don't have no doubt in my mind about anything that this one can accomplish. There's no doubt in my mind about anything in this world, in this universe, that this one can accomplish. I know that I can do everything in the world because I make the decision, it gets supported. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes I make the decision and then the support is a redirection, like to show me that, nah, you actually don't really want this for real. And another big part of trust is knowing that you're going to change. I trust myself through my changes. I trust myself with my changes. I trust myself through my evolution. Some people, they want to change something about themselves, but they're not trusting of what that process looks like, nor are they trusting of staying on the course. You know what I'm saying? Being too afraid to detach from friends, too afraid to detach from works, jobs, and things like that. It really is just mastering the art of detachment. You must master the art of attachment, the art of detachment, and you must master the art of gratitude. Be grateful for everything in this life. That's another way of trust. The more that I see physical representations of my abundance by way of what I pay attention to and what my focus is, come on now. So I just feel like, damn, I'm gonna put this on YouTube and some of the people who don't know I smoke won't know I smoke. That's crazy. See, this is like when I have moments like this, or conversations like this, I would like to have someone on the other end where like we can make this a group discussion. You put in your input, I listen, there's a questionnaire, like I really love to converse. I love the strength in it. I love the teaching and the learning exchange that happens because there's a shift in between perspectives. Like, I'm definitely not the type of person who likes to know and stay only in my own. Yeah, I know, Wilson. I feel like that's how you experience different parts of the world. If not actually seeing it in the world, but like through people. Because all that ever exists for real is just you in this world. It's just you and reflections of you and triggers of you and all of that. So when you get to have a whole different person invite you into their aspect, you get to listen and play around in their mind and things like that. When I say play around, I don't mean in a sense of manipulation. I mean in a sense of enjoyment, learning and teaching exchanges and things like that. Yeah, just trusting yourself, man. While looking at stories today, I saw that the Hood Healer reposted something about some woman on TikTok talking about like how you want to make sure that you land in the time, like you don't get stuck in a timeline or incomplete one or something like that. Like just knowing your triggers, knowing when you have shifted, knowing when you have experienced a timeline shift by way of some type of sign in the universe matching with what you feel in your body. And that's what it is too. You cannot trust yourself without being present in your body. You must be present in your body in order to trust yourself. Because if you get a feeling, you catch a vibe, come on now, that's your body telling you something. That's information being relayed to you. So let's make sure we're paying attention to the information that's being relayed to us. But I feel like I have to save a different space for talking about timeline shifts and going to different dimensions and things like that, because that's not a conversation everybody can have, and I'm not about to be throwing pearls to swine. So trusting yourself just look like being willing to change. Trust yourself look like being willing to change. What are you willing to change? If I have any questions about specific situations, whether, trusting yourself in friendship, trusting yourself in platonic relationships, trusting yourself in your body when it comes to cultivating a spiritual practice, trusting yourself to cook your meals, trusting yourself to eat properly, like when it comes to trusting yourself, it's all going to boil down to what does it look like for you to make decisions? What do your decisions depend on? Yeah, that's a good joint. I'll decide where I'm going to put this at a later date. Peace.